Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
Welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking last night's Monday Night Raw, the last 3-hour Raw of the year, heading into the 2-hour Raw. I'll be honest with you, man. Last night's episode was absolutely stacked, Larson.
Oh yeah.
How are they gonna jam all that action into 2 hours?
They're not. There's things that they're gonna have to cut stuff out. Just how it works.
You know what we
Two is less than 3.
Yeah. Factual.
Yeah.
Right
Therefore,
there.
an hour of content per episode will have to be cut.
Like what, 45 minutes in it? Like, or is it 20 minutes or
It's
15
44 and a half minutes for every hour of broadcast TV of actual content.
Okay, there you
22 and change for a half hour.
go. All right. So yeah. But man, it was a jam-packed episode last night. Seth Rollins returned. We had a heel turn. We had shades
Face
of a
turn?
heel turn. Wait, you said we had a face turn?
Yeah.
We had a face turn? What was the
Yeah,
face
isn't
turn?
what you consider what Braun Breaker did last night, a face turn?
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he started doing that, are the dogs barking thing, are your feet hurting? And that was like the beginning.
Man, my feet are hurting after basketball yesterday. I'll tell you what.
I woke up, my left ankle is completely busted up.
It's all the running. We don't usually run that much.
We did the full court 21.
Did
That's
the full
right.
court, which is great when we do it. As soon as I'm done.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of fun, though. A lot of
It's good
fun last
exercise.
night's Raw as well, though. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Also, they blew the Intercontinental Championship, Larson.
Yeah, they
get
did.
A little bit of blue, and it makes it pop. What's your first impressions of the Intercontinental Championship now?
Well, it makes sense because the stuff that's blue on there now is the oceans on the Earth.
It's the water.
It makes sense, but also it makes sense because Jey Uso, in his individual color palette for his presentation, his merch and such, there's a lovely shade of kind of an aqua blue.
People are saying that the evidence that the game Triple H, Paul Levesque, whose name is at the credits at the end, is on the social media, and he saw, I guess, like a while ago, some people were starting to blew up the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And like it says, the details, man. You can put a little bit of something into a title, and spruce it up. I think they should do the same thing, honestly, with the SmackDown tag titles. Those need a little bit something extra to pop.
They do. They do.
The plate,
and especially introducing the blue on the title once Jay wins it again makes sense because it fits with his whole presentation.
They should have put a little bit of dash of pink in there, to be honest.
Got
with
that
you.
right.
Ooh.
So if DIY ever wins those tag titles again, they got blue in their packaging too.
Works for them too.
Put a little blue in there.
Yep. No, absolutely. I agree with that. So yeah, I guess the biggest thing probably, and I love the match and I love the finish. I said this on the social medias, man, when Rollins stomped the shit out. One thing about ECW back in the day, the thing that I loved about ECW rules is that because everything, basically all the big matches anyways, ended up being these wildly overbooked, shit happens all over the place, weapons, et cetera, tight matches. It just really, that kind of stuff can lead to just a really super hot crowd. That crowd was so into the last Monster Standing match last night. And then right at the finish, when Rollins, who's been gone since the beginning of August, showed up, ran down, stomped the living shit out of Bronson Reed onto the steel steps, which had been brought into the ring. Crowd went absolutely crazy. And on top of that, Braun Strowman got the win, which is great for him, man. I think this is what a great way to use Braun Strowman. The guy is basically around at this point. Obviously his knees aren't in the best shape. Obviously it's hard for him to get around, but
man, that spot where he knocked Bronson off the apron, had to run.
Dude, you know what,
it's tough
man?
to watch, but
this guy
he's the best he can.
And it's effective. That's the bottom line on it. It's effective. All this, him going up top and doing the big splash, that was awesome onto the security guards. I thought that he just performed phenomenally. And yeah, Bronson Reed is going to be the guy who's taking that mantle of the monster. But I love that he doesn't literally have to pin Braun Strowman in order to do it. And he still goes up the ladder. He's going to be in a feud now with Seth Rollins. Given that, on one hand, you don't want Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is always going to be that sort of night one, maybe sometimes at some point, night two WrestleMania main event guy. I know, but he was night one main event guy last year, along with The Rock and the other guys. But he's always going to be like the go-to top face, whatever, if he's on Raw and Roman's Cody's elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
But you want to elevate Reed.
absolutely.
How do you book the next couple months of Rollins and Reed? Because that does seem to be the direction they're going to go.
I mean, what I imagine they're probably going to do is a situation where Bronson Reed regularly annihilate Seth Rollins, but Seth in the end just kind of ekes out victory. So it's massive amounts of destruction from Bronson Reed. In the end, Seth, I don't know, opportunistic pin, something along those lines. I would not be shocked though before the end of the year if Bronson Reed does pin Braun Strowman. I feel like he's got to get a win over Braun in this whole thing. So Braun got the win where there's no pin involved. Now Bronson should get a win where there is a pin involved.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think, I kind of like the way, like New Japan will do that kind of stuff with the G1. They'll take pre-existing stories and they'll have, wrestlers get their win back during the course of the G1 or whatever. And especially if they're champion, it kind of doesn't matter because the title's not going to be on the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to this, I think that's probably kind of a given. That'll be his way of, because you're right. It's got to be a situation where Bronson Reed will be more known for this massive threat to the rest of the roster after this is done. But Seth Rollins' record, I guess, if you will, although they don't really deal with records too much, but it remains intact. He shows that, hey, he can still kick out of anything. He can still get the job done but he's going to have to go overboard in order to get the job done with Bronson Reed. And yeah, whether or not that means, I'm always a fan of, what? They might have gone overboard with Rollins down in 3 to Cody Rhodes, but let Reed get, and they probably won't do this. Let Reed get one win over him.
It's possible. It's possible. It's entirely possible, especially the situation where down the line you have this Bronson-Seth feud maybe overlap a little bit as Seth starts getting into a feud with CM Punk going into the winter and spring. And then Punk costs Seth the match. Bronson Reed pins Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
It's possible, depending on how long they're going to go with this and if there's been any overlap with the Punk feud. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that Bronson Reed can get a win over Seth Rollins, whether it's in that fashion. Maybe they have a tag match. I don't know what the participants would be. I guess you could do Seth and Braun against Bronson Reed and somebody else.
Yeah, right.
And have Bronson get a pin on Seth at a tag match, something like that.
Yeah.
There's ways they can do it.
Yeah. You mentioned CM Punk. Him and Drew McIntyre had a face-to-face. It wasn't really face-to-face. There was a bunch of security guards between them. But Drew McIntyre came out in a black tuxedo, and CM Punk came out in white pants and a white merch shirt and some poofy hair.
Yeah.
Those people in the back, they really know how to, add some volume.
They get the blow dryer going when they comb it back,
Yeah, exactly.
Some volume going on there, maybe some volumizer. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. What did you think of their go home promo to Hell in a Cell?
I mean, I don't necessarily think it changed the math at all.
They can be as Shakespearean as they want. They can talk about seeing you in hell as much as they want. There's. I'll put it this way: there really are no more. There haven't been more story beats now for a while.
No, it's the same thing kind of with the Judgment Day story too. It's like, all right, we're going to attack you this week, then nope, you're going to attack us this week. We're going to get the upper hand this week. Next week, you get the upper hand. It's just this back and forth, who stands tall type stuff.
Yeah.
And as we saw with the Judgment Day stuff, at least in the case of Damian Priest, really telegraphs that he's beating Finn Balor.
Big time. Yeah.
We didn't necessarily get the same kind of math kind of fall into place for Drew and Punk. But, like given all that Punk has said, like he said, I'm willing to die in that cage to beat you, Drew. I've been staying in a hotel for 4 weeks. He said this last night. So my wife does not see what I've become to prepare for this match.
Yeah, that was good.
He says to Drew, you've turned me into the imaginary boogeyman that you thought I was.
Yeah, I thought that was a clever line because he's talking about his reputation. And there's obvious subtext there about his time in AEW. You know, how he was, according to many rumors and reports, agendas, if you will, old Phil was a bit of a locker room cancer, according to those with a certain agenda. And he's proving out, as you've seen with this lovely social media video that I saw, where Triple H and was talking to him, and he had Larry in a little stroller, and then Bianca comes up, and Larry loves Bianca. You know, what are you talking about? Phil is an angel backstage. He's obviously a locker room leader. You know, I think anybody would consider him in that light, Larson. And so he mentions that. I thought that was a really cool line that he dropped there.
Yeah. I mean, given that Punk's babyface and all this, usually when babyface goes to the extreme of, I'm willing to put my life on the line for this match. Are you willing to do that, heel?
Yeah.
This leads me to think babyface Punk's going to win in this situation. And also, it just makes sense for him to win coming out of this feud. He's probably going to feud with Seth Rollins coming up. You would think maybe they're going to push on that for a little bit. I don't know. But if this is Punk's first real feud since coming back to WWE almost a year ago now, you kind of have to think he wins it. I understand they could have Drew win at Hell in a Cell. I don't know, because if the situation is Punk wins in Hell in a Cell, he says, that's it, we're done. I want Gunther now. And then we have Drew doing to Punk what Punk was doing to Drew around WrestleMania season, costing him opportunity after opportunity after opportunity for that title. That kind of makes sense. But then again, I don't know how you beat a blow off like Hell in a Cell.
Dude, I'm with you. I've come around to the idea that, you know, Punk, he gets a tremendous response. He really does. I think the idea that Drew losing just makes him scarier when he does return. You know, I don't know if he's gonna. I don't suspect he's gonna take a lot of time off. But you got to think Hell in a Cell, just for the storyline purposes. If Punk wins, Punk can then show up on the next Monday and say, I want Gunther. Well, guess what? And I know Seth Rollins is in the middle of something or is starting something with Bronson Reed, but I don't know. I assume it could be the situation where Punk says, I want Gunther, after Gunther, by the way, absolutely crushes Sami Zayn. Just that powerbomb was nasty last night. It really was. Dude. It was that torque where you can sort of see it coming. It's like, oh no, this is going to land bad.
You know, this tangent here, this Gunther Sammy feud, I don't really feel like it's doing anybody any favors. Really.
It ain't gonna do Sammy favors when he gets crushed.
No, it's not. You know, it's Gunther getting his win back from WrestleMania, but just in terms of like the story beats, it's just not the most intriguing, impactful stuff.
I think that you and I, like the first week when he was like, no, I feel like you and I had talked it out pretty reasonably in terms of how they probably should have done it, you know?
Yeah.
And it could have included him saying no at first, but yeah, it hasn't been the most compelling thing, just Gunther saying no over and over again. And then even last night, I felt like they got to the precipice of a decent explanation for Gunther, but they didn't quite get to it. I mean, he should have all the motivation in the world to squash this guy as soon as possible.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, the fact that he didn't say, you know, Sammy, I took the eye off the prize for 1 second. It wasn't you that beat me. It was me. And I feel that in my bones. And, you know, you want proof of that? Right afterwards, I won King of the Ring. And right after that, I won the world title. And you haven't done shit. All you did was carry that title for 4 months, further validating that it was a fluke.
Yeah.
And
instead, it was Sammy was like, hey, I knew you were messed up after you lost me. Why? Because you didn't ask for a rematch.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
No, Gunther went on he refocused and went on an incredible run to win the world title.
Something Sammy ain't ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But you know, if Punk wins, I mean, this does kind of line up and make sense, especially with Rollins coming back last night. He moves on to Reed. Punk moves on to Gunther, loses at probably Survivor Series or something, and then they reconnect heading into WrestleMania, and maybe they can revisit the Drew thing. And then the idea of Drew maybe taking a couple weeks off or maybe a month off to build to his return as just, any shade of, Drew McIntyre having being in the right, because that case can be made for the Drew McIntyre CM Punk story. CM Punk screwed this guy like 3 times over for the world title stuff.
Yeah.
And so you understand where he's coming from. That needs to be gone. This needs to be just bloodlust Drew McIntyre, a guy who just wants everything and everyone out of his way. He wants to destroy everything. That's how he comes out of this loss against CM Punk. And I think that all that kind of lines up. I think it just probably makes sense at this point.
Yeah. Yep. We mentioned earlier briefly we had a face turn and a heel turn last night. We had a face turn from Braun Breaker where he goes in the ring and while Jey Uso is celebrating his Intercontinental title win and pretty much says, hey, respect. I want to be the first as a colleague, as a competitor, to congratulate you. I ain't going to spear you. I ain't going to attack you. I just want to shake your hand.
I'm going to attack you. I'm going to say congratulations. Someone from your family beat somebody from my family. And now you put some blue on my title.
They shook hands. And then later in the night, Braun confronted Gunther backstage, staring at that World Heavyweight title.
Yeah. What are you thinking for that, Matt? That's going to happen.
Oh, Gunther gets his win back over Braun.
Oh, bro, I'm not saying anything else is going to happen. I'm just the timeline here, the lining up. It's
I don't know.
Saudi?
I mean, that could be just one of those things. That could be one of those things where they're looking down the line. They they put the thought in your head, and then 6 months from now, which I guess will be Mania season, so maybe it won't be 6 months from now. But down the line, then they're like, maybe they got Braun win the Rumble. I don't know.
Ooh, whoa, wow, boy, I don't know. That's a tough one because. Wouldn't it be kind of awesome if they just stopped doing the you win the Rumble, you get the main event? The World Heavyweight Champion, something like Braun Breaker wins the Rumble and he gets the special main event smack dab in the middle of night one.
Exactly. I know. Right in the middle of the card.
They've already robbed the women of the Royal Rumble main event Mania spot. They've done that. Go ahead and take it away because you're going to have The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes on top in some way, shape, or form, probably for the next couple of years.
Yep.
And that might take up both nights 1 and night 2, man.
Entirely possible. So maybe that's a distinct possibility. I don't know. And then, not so surprisingly, The Miz kicked R-Truth right in the face during their tag match against AOP. It just seemed like The Miz, after Karrion Kross getting in his ear for a couple weeks, was just kind of tired of R-Truth being R-Truth, essentially.
Well, I think he's tired of not being respected.
Taken seriously.
And part of that is R-Truth, who is not a person to be taken seriously because he's hilarious. Uh-oh, what do you got there in your mug? What the fuck? Is that floss?
No, it's a string. It wasn't inside the tea. It was stuck to the cup.
You put some used floss in there.
No, it's not floss. It's a string from the blue Friendo Club SmackDown logo shirt.
Oh, thing's falling apart already? Oh, no.
Yeah.
Friendo Club.
Friendo shop. Metaphor for me. I'm falling apart.
Oh, no. But yeah, The Miz. Man, I really God, I love that they're leaning in. As look, if they're not going to make Karrion Kross, guy who goes with his lovely hot wife out on the seas in a car, like in that cool video on their Instagram, give him something a bit more concrete. Now he's firmly guy who just likes to fuck with people and make them sort of change their attitude, if you will.
Yeah, he drives wedges.
He's the puppet master.
People, in their own mind about how they perceive themselves. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this really quick. Dude, I was out there. Oh my God, what is your deal today? What is happening?
Like something's flying in front of my face.
Oh my gosh. You're a mess, man. What's going on?
I'll tell you.
Okay, so when Woods and Kofi were talking backstage after Woods' win, but before they went out, was that Kross?
So not the one where. Oh yeah, Kross was in the background. Yeah.
Bro, I was watching that on my fucking 75-inch out there. I was like, that is him, right?
I was watching this. My computer monitor sitting right here. Like, oh, that's Karrion Kross.
Because I saw the funny though is because of this. I saw him later when he had his hair down first, and I went back and watched the first hour afterwards, and I was like, his hair's in a bun? Is that the same shirt he was wearing? Who is that back there?
You can just tell by his his silhouette basically that was carrying
His
Cross.
general demeanor.
Yeah.
Just freaking like
Just milling about
lingering.
backstage. And
No, I like that though. He's done with the New Day, but he wants to see, and I love it because it sort of falls into line with that promo they did after he was done with the New Day where Scarlett was like, no, you got to move on, man. You did good work here. You broke them up. You got to move on. But he still wants to see.
he wants to admire his work.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I like that. They did this great, and I don't think it made it to TV. Maybe I turned away for a second, but I saw it on social media. There was a promo.
Oh, no, it wasn't on TV.
Okay, good. Then I saw all of Raw, I think. It was like 2.5 minutes long. And he said, I was killing everybody in NXT. And then he references the call up and the loss to Jeff Hardy. He says, within 4 months, I went from the most dominant guy coming up in NXT to we don't need your services anymore. And so he basically laid out his mission statement. I'm like, that's what this guy needs. And I love that he is going to be kind of this, assuming he still gets time. Now we're going down to 2 hours. It's ironic. Finally, after what? Since 2012. So over a decade.
All the years that we've been asking for a 2-hour Raw, we finally get it.
I don't want it anymore.
Steve doesn't want it.
I don't want it anymore.
I
don't want a 3-hour SmackDown, but I do want a 3-hour Raw.
Well, Raw's shown they can actually fill 3 hours. SmackDown can some weeks barely fill 2.
Yeah. It's been better the last couple of weeks.
It has been, but I mean, like the whole spell right before they were leaving Fox, man, it was like they were just barely trying. It felt like to do anything.
Oh yeah, they had seen
any
for sure. Mr. Perfect here in the YouTube chat says Karrion Kross is the 2024 version of Sean O'Hare's Devil's Advocate gimmick from 2003. Yeah, I think it's sort of the sinister guy who's pointing out people's hypocrisies and changing. Preying on their insecurities and whatnot. Yep. I think it's a great use for him, and yeah, I think it's really good stuff.
It is really good stuff. Also, really good stuff what they're doing with the New Day. Leading up to their 10th anniversary, you'd think, oh, this is going to be a celebratory occasion. It's very rare that tag teams or factions last that long in wrestling these days, and 10 years together is having the run they've had. Is an event worthy of a tremendous celebration. And maybe in the next month or so, they'll get back around to it. But right now, it seems like it's more likely that Kofi and Xavier Woods split as opposed to have some massive celebration to celebrate 10 years as a team.
Yeah.
Because last night, Xavier Woods, purposely or not, that's open to interpretation, I suppose, ripped off Rey Mysterio's mask, whether it's just an instinctual thing, whether it was planned, it was premeditated, something that he just did in the spur of the moment, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We do know as it happened.
Yep.
Ripped off Rey Mysterio's mask, seemingly in shock that he himself did that.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, took the opportunity to roll up Rey to get the win. He's been a former world champion.
You kind of misstated that. Took an opportunity to hit his finisher, the backwoods.
Sorry, backwards.
Rey Mysterio. That's no normal roll up. That's a finish.
Apologies. No disrespect intended for Xavier Woods. So Kofi, brings that up to Woods backstage, not in like a forceful way, not super confrontational, just like, hey, did you mean to do that? And Woods, again, maybe not entirely convincingly, no, I didn't mean to do that. I like that it's not cut and dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can look at that and say, like, oh, he totally intended to do that. You can look at that and think, oh, just the spur of the moment, he just did it.
Well, yeah, and you can also look, obviously, like when he realizes what had happened, and then he immediately understands that led to an opportunity. So even if this was accidental, Woods right now, what this illustrated, he is desperate to get these wins over former world champions. And so if this was a couple months ago, maybe he would have been more apt to like give him the mask back, hang back for a second.
Yeah.
But not now, because this guy has had his, he's having a bit of a crisis of confidence right now. He's got to get this win. And he's trying to enact the same level of urgency, helping out Kofi, tripping up Chad Gable, even though Kofi didn't need it. He had that Trouble in Paradise loaded up.
Yep, he's going to
But
win.
hey, those old instincts kick in. Let's try to get this by any means necessary. And we're seeing the process play out. And that's why, from a character standpoint, this New Day stuff is so good. You take into within the context of their history, and it's even better.
Yep.
Kofi can rest on, and I'm not saying he is, but he can rest knowing that he had one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time, winning the title off of Daniel Bryan. Well, Woods has never had that. And so I think that's why it's been really, really interesting stuff. Just more really, really good stuff there.
And so later on, you mentioned that Woods inadvertently cost Kofi his match. Between those two matches, there's a backstage bit, I believe it's between them, where Kofi says that he talked to Jey Uso's and give Kofi Intercontinental title match, but Kofi says, no, Woods should get it.
Yeah.
Jey agrees, so Woods next week has a title match against Jey Uso.
This is one of those great things. This is one of those great things where it's going to be kind of tough to watch. Because he ain't going to win.
Nope.
And it's going to, there's bad news on the horizon, man.
It's entirely possible that Kofi's out there. And Xavier Woods, one of the things is Xavier Woods, he was upset that Kofi didn't let him in on plans. Therefore, Kofi says, all right, Woods, you're quarterback now.
Yeah.
So they hatched some plan, to try to increase the odds that Xavier Woods wins. And Kofi may not be fully on board, but he goes with it because Woods is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Either he doesn't execute the plan or does, and it leads to, either way, Woods is losing.
I think, wouldn't it be best if, like, Kofi, there's no plan, but Kofi has an opportunity to get it for Woods, and he doesn't pull the trigger on it. And that's going to be the thing where it's like, oh shit. It's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be devastating. And I'm here for it, man, because that's where the really good stuff really is.
That's where the good story beats are. Yep.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I kind of feel like this doesn't have to be, because I know there's been a lot of debate both here, in our chat amongst us on social media about what route should they take with the New Day. Is this going to be an actual split long term? Is this going to be a Woods heel turn? I know some people suggest, well, Kofi should turn heel first. I don't know if that would make sense from a character standpoint, because again, this isn't a heel turn. It's a character. It's a character evolution. Mm-hmm. It's like very understandable motivations, which lead to behavior that maybe wouldn't have happened a couple months before, but it's organic. It's just good storytelling. Mm-hmm. And you look at a guy like Sami Zayn, for example, who went through his own crisis of sorts, getting into the bloodline, trying to maneuver that. And then it sort of ended with like kind of a happy ending for everybody involved. Mm-hmm. Will the same thing happen with the New Day? Because I think they can tell an incredibly effective story, a long-term story that can take a lot of different twists and turns and then end up where everybody's happy on the same page. As opposed to, it's such a different situation now than it was with Vince, where it's like, oh, we're just going to make him a bad guy. And then he's just a bad guy. Yeah. Okay, we're supposed to accept that. These days, it's a little more complicated. It's more layered these days.
Yeah. Yep. It is. It is. Let's get into it, Steve.
Well, hold on a second. We're a half hour deep. We haven't even talked about engagement.
Oh,
Patreon
sorry.
It's a new month. Patrons.
Well, shout out the patrons, Steve.
Well, you
got it handy. If not, I can talk about engagement.
I don't have it handy.
All right, let's talk about engagement. So, YouTube has a thing called an algorithm. I don't understand it because I'm not that smart.
Right.
But I do know it exists, and I do know that engagement is good for our content in said algorithm. Therefore, we are asking friendos everywhere, if you could, if it's not too much for trouble, hit the like button. If you're watching this live right now during our live stream, hit that like button. I want to get 200 likes before we're done with the stream. If you're watching VOD, guess what? Same thing. Hit the like button. If you're watching VOD, leave a comment.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment. Great. Who's turning on who? Is Woods turning on Kofi? Vice versa?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the weather in your neighborhood.
Wow.
Whatever.
Weather. Okay.
Leave a comment. I'm fast. See, weather is a thing that affects all of us, Steve.
It really is. It really is.
And that's why I find it fascinating.
Absolutely. No,
so
I
please
agree with
leave
that.
a comment, hit that like button. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. I think I've got look, we haven't done this in a while. And I feel like you and I, we need to get on the same page this week and figure out how to get this new bonus content to the patrons.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be doing some watch-alongs for some matches where you actually get to see match on screen, and I think it's something that a lot of people are going to like, and that's what we're going to do very shortly. But in the meantime, we've got some patrons to shout out. I think I've got this right here, if I'm correct here. And it's over at patreon.com/Stephen Larson. If you choose the Friendo Club setup, it's $5 a month. You get access to all of it. We have a huge backlog of bonus episodes, by the way. We got no shortage of those. And then we got new stuff on the way. It also gets you access to our big predictions challenge. Bad Blood is coming up, followed by AEW's whatever it is. What is it?
Wrestle Dream. Cody
That's
just sent over the form for Bad Blood. Looked over.
Nice.
Looks great. Cody's here in chat on Twitch. Thank you, Cody. Cody, your Google Forms wizard.
He's the best.
Creates these forms.
It's magical.
It's magical. It's easy for the friendos to fill out. It tabulates everything in there. We cannot do predictions as we do them without Cody. So thank you. Thank you, Cody Mons.
Absolutely. So let's see here. We've got Joey Rio is a new member. Matt Irwin, Justin DiBenedetto. Hey, there we go. I got it. Who else do we have here? Q Lang Lang, Ethan Granville, Justin Davis, Edgar Linton. Who else we have? Hayden White, the Honky Donkey Man. I like some of these names. Powerbomb Nation, Enrique Lopez. Those are all the newest ones. I really got to do a better job compiling these, to be honest. Oh, here we go. Here's the date. Okay, yeah, those are all the latest ones. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everybody.
For your patronage. We appreciate it. Tomorrow I'll do the new YouTube channel members. So another way to get the Friendo Club set up is by clicking join right here at YouTube, youtube.com/Stephen Crack. Mr. Perfect just gifted one of these memberships to the community. Thank you very much, Mr. Perfect. We really appreciate that. So yeah, there you go. There's that little bit of business.
Dun, 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 dun.
What is that?
It's Mr. Perfect's theme.
Oh, okay. Didn't quite get there. We should do that one day.
What?
Like a little game show thing like that.
Oh, you sing the theme song to the person next to
you. Here, let's see if you know this. It's kind of an obscure one.
Sure.
It's kind of an obscure one. Let's just test this out a little bit, okay?
There's a test.
No.
Oh,
I don't even know how this goes. It's kind of an obscure one, okay? DJ
You just said what it was.
Oh,
DX.
You got it.
Yeah.
Your turn, dude. This is kind of fun now.
All right. See this one, another obscure one.
Yeah, good.
You ready?
Ready.
Da 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 da. Down. Da 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 da.
Oh, God, it's either Steve Blackman or it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Correct. Wow.
Can we get another glass breaking from you, please?
It's pretty good, huh?
You know what's funny? I noticed, I don't know why this stood out to me, but during the Dirty Mr. McMahon documentary, the first time they show Stone Cold Steve Austin showing up, I don't know what event this was, but they did. You remember the cool thing they used to do where he had like the Stone Cold thing in the glass that literally broke?
Oh, yeah, and half it broke, and he had to like shoulder his way through the rest of it. Yeah.
And then you see, like, as soon as he comes through, a couple of dudes come with some mop or some brooms or whatever. Yeah. That was funny. I was like, what event was that where he couldn't, like, it was just half of it, and he had to like, oh, God damn it. You just took me out of my mojo. My headspace is all fucked up now. I'm the baddest motherfucker here. Yeah. But I had to sidestep my glass because it didn't break all the way. What? I lost my juice for the day. Gonna lose this match now to Savio Vega. Oh man. Anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about.
Sure. So show opened up with Jey Uso. He opens up with a promo, starts his entrance in the concourse. He's got his son with him.
Oh, that was so nice.
It was.
That was really nice. Baby Us.
So he comes to the ring. Says Intercontinental Champion main event Jey Uso is now in your city. My first singles championship. I'm gonna fight every week. Fight anyone who wants it. Yeet. Yeet. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thanks for rocking with me. Thanks for getting my back through all the years. I love you. Yeet.
Yeet.
Very special for me. I got to walk the ring with my first championship with my son Jace behind me. It was hard to get here, Oos. My own family made it hard.
Mm-hmm.
Roman made it hard for me.
Yeah, this was the first like 3 minutes of this was him trying to remember what to say, right? There was a lot of him looking down and thinking and pausing, and maybe it was some of it was for dramatic effect, but some of it like I don't know. People weren't like they weren't chanting yeet, and I thought he was. Oh, was he waiting for that?
Maybe
there was a lot of pausing here, like the first 3 to 5 minutes of this thing.
Says my whole life I was just been a twin. My whole career I've just been a twin. They didn't know me, but now they know me. My biggest fan, though, out of me and all my brothers, is my mother. I spoke to my mom. She said, go out there and show them who you are. She said, go out there and get it. I got it. And Mama, we did it.
We did it.
Yeet.
Yeet.
So, well, he didn't do yeet. Just did understated yeet.
Yeet.
So then Braun Breaker comes out. Says, I'm not here to spoil the fun. I'm out here because I have respect for that title. Lineage goes back a long way. And after battling out last week, I got the same amount of respect for you, too. Better man won. Let's shake hands. So they do, and then Jey says, hey, Braun, there's some dogs in Indiana. Oos.
Oos.
So you hear some barking from the crowd.
Braun Breaker seems like the kind of guy who doesn't know how to accept a compliment. Because he didn't look around and start barking or anything like that. It was more like this.
Yeah.
I don't quite know how to smile genuinely. I'm not a smiling guy. I'm a dog. Dogs don't smile.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen my dog smile.
I think you're anthropomorphizing your dog. That's just the little thing. They smile with their eyes, but their mouth just sort of does a natural curl sometimes.
Yeah, I smile with the eyes. Yeah, I know that.
That's what everybody had to do during pandemic. Remember, you're wearing those masks. You got this going on. You're like, oh, those were dark days. Anyways, so yeah, after that, we got the Ray/Woods confrontation from last week, and we're going into that match. But first, we see Dom and Liv hanging out by Dom's lowrider outside as he heads off because Finn calls him. Carlito and JD show up, and they're like, hey, Liv, where's Finn? And then Finn's on the phone. He's like, hey, I've got travel issues, but business is taken care of. And Dom's like, Dom doesn't say anything about the plan, but what? I don't know what this means.
No, because like when Dom talks to Liv and everybody else, he just says, oh, he's got travel issues. He'll be there later, but doesn't say anything about whatever business Finn was attending to.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So anyways, Finn's like, I've had trouble traveling, getting this new shirt of mine. And then we got Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio. There's a couple spots here in this match where I'm like, are they just going stiff at each other right now? Or is this kind of clunky right here? It was like there was a lot of good stuff, but then there was a couple moments where I was like, oh my God, they're kind of clunky in this match.
Anyways, Woods gets the win as mentioned, takes off Ray's mask, rolls him up. Backwoods
gets the win. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yep. And then after that, we had Lyra Valkyria backstage. Sonya and Shayna walks up to her. And Sonya says, Lyra, just the woman I was looking for. You have a match against Zoe tonight. It's just unfortunate you'll be out all alone. No Natalia and what's her name? Talking about Zelina.
Yeah.
So Sonya says, you're going to be all alone, but I'm here. But I'm there, and so is Shayna. Don't worry about her. She won't bite unless I tell her to. So they referenced. And Shayna made her roster debut and bit Becky Lynch on the neck.
She was like a vampire, man.
Yeah, for one night.
Who do you think her familiar was?
I mean, it seems like maybe Zoe Stark.
Guillermo. Yeah, and then we see Woods backstage. Kofi walks up, and he's like, hey, man, I appreciate you letting me go out there by myself. And Kofi's like, no worries, man, but I got to ask. Did you do it on purpose? And Woods is like, no, of course not. No, I respect Ray. He's the best. But, throwing some shade. God, if I ever get this shitty to you, just fucking, I don't know, walk away or something. I thought, wow. Oh, no. It's all happening. He says, but I thought you'd be congratulating me for winning against the legend. And Kofi's like, yeah, and yeah, congratulations, man. He says, speaking of which, I'm about to say something really nice that I did for you. Jey Uso offered me the first shot at his IC title next week. And Woods is like, hey, man, yeah. Said, I'll be by your side as you climb mountain again. And Kofi's like, no, you won't be because I told him it should be you. And he agreed. But now I'm kind of regretting that decision because you're kind of being shitty to me. He didn't say that, but I know he felt it. He says, I don't want to step out of line. I know you're the quarterback. Never been a world champion, but you get to be quarterback. He says, but you deserve it. And Woods is like, I could beat him. I could beat Jey. He says, but focus on tonight. You got a match, and I know you let me out there alone, but I want to be by your side tonight. And Kofi's like, yeah, man, we'll make it 2 for 2. You know why? Because New Day rocks. And meanwhile, in the background, you see Karrion Kross looking at pictures of cars that go on the water.
That also are boats.
That are also boats.
Cars that are also boats. Then we had Zoe Stark versus Lyra Valkyria. Zoe gets the win here after Sonya hits Lyra with the knee. And Zoe follows with Z360. I didn't ask you. Who do you think is Shayna's familiar?
Shit, man. I don't know. That's why I put you on the spot because I don't like being on the spot. Did it to you first.
You did. I said Zoe Stark because she had a match here.
I don't know. Her familiar would be Lily the Puppet. Remember Lily the Puppet was like the reason we stopped doing Raw reviews at night. I was like, they've got Shayna in a feud against Lily the Puppet.
True.
I'm done now.
Yeah.
We're done now.
So afterwards, Pure Fusion Collective gets in the ring, attacks Lyra, and then Caden Carter and Katana Chance run down to make the save. They hit a cake stand on Sonya and Shayna. And then we have a Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman video package. Advance at their last Monster Standing match. And then Adam Pearce is walking backstage telling security this and that while CM Punk walks by him. Because he's got a promo next.
Yes. Yeah.
But first.
Oh, no. Later on, they announced the Ilya thing. That's one thing that we didn't really bring up in the...
Oh, yeah.
Notes.
6 to 9 months. Torn ACL.
Torn ACL.
That's a bummer.
6 to 9. Man, hopefully when he comes back, it'll be a huge deal. Because he really got kind of short shrifted a bit when he came up to main roster. Yeah. He was sort of like, I don't know, not used to the fullest degree that he should have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he hadn't quite got his footing under him since he got called up, and now he gets hurt. So first, before CM Punk promo, Jackie's backstage interviewing Katana, Caden, and Lyra. So Katana, she's got a face mask on. She says, you see my face, they broke my nose. So if you think we're just the nice guys, that ends now. Once we're done with Pure Fusion Collective, we're getting our tag titles back. So Unholy Union walks up and talks some crap. Says, what makes you think you can cut the line? You've been gone for months. Those belong to us. They all talk trash for a little bit.
They all talk some shit, yeah. Afterwards,
they got the Hell in a Cell music. What'd you think about that? Dun 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 as the cage is lowering.
Yeah, I don't know. It was fine. That's one thing that I forgot to mention. Did you notice that Unholy Union looked like a good foot taller than everybody else when they showed up?
I noticed that too.
That was crazy. Were they standing on like some little crates or something?
Maybe they had like,
the Darby Allin shoes. You ever notice he wears like 6-inch platforms? Yeah, those are really big.
I always think those would be super heavy too.
You would think.
Yeah. I try wearing some Adidas AE1s and they're kind of heavy. I'm like, these are too heavy for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But that doesn't have several inches of platform on there.
You see what's going on? Oh, I don't know if you can see it on your camera.
I can't see anything.
Oh, you can't see it on your camera. Yeah, like there's a little sliver between like chair and frame, and like my dog is just right there. I loaded her up on some old person drugs. Not load her up. I gave her half of a trazodone.
Oh.
So she'll just be chill.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's no chill here in this next segment with Punk, Drew McIntyre.
Adam Pearce killed it. Killed that segue, baby. Good job.
Pearce starts out in the ring and is like, hey, it's my responsibility to put on great main events and special attractions. We're going to do that Bad Blood with Hell in a Cell. So let's bring them out here. No physical altercation between them. And so they can talk some crap to each other and security to make sure there's no fighting. So Punk comes out first. He's got his merch shirt. He's got the sleeves cut off. He's got white Levi jeans on.
And his hair just
poofy.
So poofy.
All the volumizer in
so,
there.
so I'm just like probably a good solid 15 minutes of just that blow dryer.
The brush doing this to it to get some lift.
Yeah, right.
So he's out first, and then Drew McIntyre's out in a tux with a black shirt on too.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But he said it was a tux. He also tells a tux because they had the piping down the side.
Yeah, and the lapel thing or whatever it is, the little folder, it was like nice and shiny compared to the rest of it. Yeah, it wasn't just a nice black suit. You usually think tux, you're like, oh, it's like a butler type situation. You know, you got some
Or
long
like
tails.
a wedding. You know,
You get like a wedding
or a ball, formal event.
No, butlers. Butlers, A-tier tux right there. And it comes out with a little service tray. That comes with a tux. Yeah, a little bow tie, but no, he was wearing like a black suit, but he was like, and what he had to make sure people knew that it was a tux though.
He did. I know. He had to point it out.
He had to point it out because Punk's like, a tux? What are you talking about? It's like it's just a black suit. No, it's a tux.
Oh, look, you see the details. Clearly a tux.
Well, yeah, but it's not clear. If he hadn't said it, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have
If he hadn't said, I wouldn't have paid attention to see that he had the stripe down the side of the pants.
Right.
And then you said the shiny lapels. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the shiny lapels.
So anyways, they get in the ring and Pierce is like, any last words? And Drew says, oh, I'll go first. And he says, wonder why I'm wearing all black. It's out of respect, but not for you. It's out of respect for your wife. After this Saturday, she's going to have to feed you, bathe you. Hell, she's probably gonna leave you. Notice this is a tux too. It's going to be a celebration for everyone when you go away and never come back again. You've been back less than a year, but injured 4 months. You're going to be gone again, all thanks to me. I could talk all day. I could talk to the people. You've been listening for me for 10 months. After all the evidence, you still chant his name, talking about Phil's. Roxanne Perez worshiped this man, spent a few days with him, and realized who he is. Eventually, look in the...
Hey, Danik says Drew should have worn a top hat. Nobody would dispute that it's a tux.
That's
if you
true.
wore a top hat.
What if he had a monocle?
What monocle? I was going to say a monocle. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. I thought that was
then he's just
funny.
dressed like what, Mr. Peanut?
Yeah, or like no, Mr. Peanut I don't think doesn't have a monocle.
Oh, that's true.
Monopoly guy does. That's the Mandela effect thing.
Yeah, maybe.
He's dressed like Mr. Peanut.
I was going to say Julius Pringle, but Julius Pringle, you just see he's got a bow tie.
Oh, maybe he's the guy who doesn't have one. I know one of them dudes doesn't have one. Everybody thought he did. Maybe Peanut does.
I thought Mr. Peanut did have a monocle.
Okay, well, check. Yeah,
go ahead, check.
I'll look.
I'll keep
Yeah, he does. He totally does.
All right.
Yeah. But the other guy, Mr. Pringle, doesn't.
No, neither does Monopoly guy.
Monopoly guy doesn't?
No monocle.
Wow. Okay, that's the guy that doesn't have it then.
Yeah. So he says, Roxanne Perez worshiped this man, spent a few days with him, and even she can't stand him now. He says, I can see the hatred burning through you, but I'm glad I wasn't a blip on your radar, but you hate me and I hate you. You taught me how to hate. I never knew. Only knew love, surrounding myself with friends. Do what you love. But you taught me that hate could be a powerful weapon, but it's dangerous long term. Luckily for me, inside Hell in a Cell, that hate will die with you. What are you laughing
I'm
about?
sorry, dude. I'm fucking crying thinking of him with a top hat.
Monocle.
What the fuck you wear a top hat and a monocle? It's a celebration.
Doffs the top hat towards Phil.
Oh, I'm sorry. That visual I can't get out of my head, and now my face feels
hot.
hot.
Put it in AI, Steve. Make it happen.
Oh, boy, that was good. Anyways, are we done with this long-ass promo?
No, I haven't got to Phil yet. So
okay,
Phil talks.
Can we just do, Phil talks, and
he says he's filled with rage whenever I see you. I can't go home. Been in a hotel for 4 weeks. He says, you turned me into the fictitious boogeyman my critics consider me being. Says, when I'm done with Inside Hell in the Cell, I'm going to send you home to Scotland in a box.
Oh, jeez.
Says, you're going to be praying to CM Punk. I'll see you in hell.
Yeah. It was fine, but yeah, they need to get this. I'm sure the match is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a good match.
It's just been kind of the spin in the wheels for the last, month.
Time to move on, man. Unless you're going to burn out.
Now, if you brought Drew McIntyre out dressed as Mr. Peanut.
Yeah, then a new twist to the story. Punk is confused.
Or Julie. Hey, do it every week. Mr. Peanut 1 week.
Yeah.
Monopoly guy the other. Julius Pringle.
Julius Pringle. What other esteemed mascots? The Burger King.
Well, I was thinking of mascots, but that were dressed in formal attire.
Right. Julius Pringle looks more like hold on, where is he? Mr. Pringles. There
You
he
only really
is.
see his head, his bow
He's
tie.
got a bow tie. He looks
got a
more like
mustache.
a barbershop quartet guy, to
Yeah,
be
I can
honest
see
with
that.
you.
I can see that because his bow tie is red, isn't it?
Dum 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 dum
Boom,
dum
boom,
dum
boom, boom,
dum
boom.
dum.
Julius Pringle.
Hell in a cell. Doom doom doom. Anyways, after that we had backstage. Braun's backstage with Kathy. She's like asking him if he feels any trepidation about going into this match. Monty's like, man, he says, I don't even know what that means, but nervous I am not. I'm going to remind the world why they call me monster among monsters when I'm the last monster standing. And then Miz shows up, and he's like, hey, last week I had a match, and then you interrupted. And Truth runs up, and he's like, what's up, y'all? And Braun's like, I didn't expect you here. You got hit with 5 tsunamis. Truth's like, what? I don't remember that. And he's like, I don't know what to tell you guys, but I have a massive match ahead of me. I got problems to handle. You started, I need to finish. And then Miz turns to Truth and is like, what are you doing here? Truth basically says, we have a match tonight against the AOP, against the Authors of Pain. And he's like, awesome, Truth is back, and it's awesome. And Miz is like, it's good to see you again, Truth. It was a funny little bit where he calls him AOP. That was funny.
It was fine, yeah. Peg Junk here says the Pringle guy looks like the old NBA coach Mike D'Antoni.
Oh my God, he does.
He does.
He does. That's hilarious.
It's pretty funny. Oh, goodness. Next up, we got a match, Judgment Day versus LWO. But first, Sammy's backstage for an interview.
Oh, God.
Kathy asks him about...
Snooze fest.
I know, Gunther telling him no, and Sammy says, it's not the rejection, it's the disrespect. You think I'd be used to it from the start of my career until now. I've always had my doubters. I think it doesn't bother me, but it does. Anyone who says otherwise is lying to you or themselves. Gunther not giving me this match because I am not at his level. It gets to me. But I don't lose sleep over it because I know I'm good enough, and Gunther can keep ducking and dodging all my challenges, but I don't go away that easily and won't stop till I get my chance World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, look, at some point, I could see Sammy winning the Raw title, the Raw World title. I could see
Not
that
off Gunther just anytime soon, though.
No, it won't be. It won't be off Gunther. It won't be anytime.
Hopefully, be a more interesting story than this one.
Yeah, I agree with that. According to these notes here from our good friend Chris Garrix, he says you could buy Dom Mysterio toilet paper on WWE.com. $12 a roll.
That seems excessive.
I
know toilet paper is very expensive.
This is more decorative toilet paper gimmick.
Is it like those towels that people will put in their bathroom that you're not supposed to use?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. He's like, hey, you're gonna go use the shitter. Don't use the toilet paper. We have toilet paper hidden underneath the thing. Use that, not the Dom stuff.
Don't use the show toilet paper. No.
Cost me $12 for that roll.
Seems a bit much.
It is, yeah, absolutely, 1,000%.
Excessive. So then we had Judgment Day versus LWO 6-man tag team match. Judgment Day gets the win, because Finn shows up.
This was so much fun. Dude, I don't care that they lost the Terror Twins. I love Judgment Day. I think they're hilarious. Somebody on social media posted a compilation of Liv Morgan and her silly laugh, and it just popped me so much. I was like, oh, you know what? They're having so much fun together. I'm into it, man. Fun. I think they're great.
So Finn shows up, pushes Joaquin Wilde off the top rope, so then JD hits Devil inside for the win. Judgment Day celebrates. We go to commercial, we come back, they're still in the ring.
They're commiserating. They're like,
they are.
And the music's still playing. It was great.
You want to do your Finn here, Steve?
Finn Balor. Yeah, sure. Damien, I heard what you said last week, that you're going to rip out my heart. You of all people should know, amigo. No tango corazon. I don't have a heart. At Bad Blood, I'm going to prove to the world that it was you who needed us, who needed me, and the Judgment Day never needed Damian Priest. And then Liv says, I'm going to prove I'm a home-wrecking, man-stealing, heartbreaking, title-taking greatest women's champion of all time. Woo! And then Rhea's music hits, and she talks a lot. And then she says, tonight, we're done talking. She's talking about locking up Dom in that cage. And then Priest got in the ring. Big brawl breaks out. What is it? Liv goes down. So Rhea comes in, drags Dom up the ramp into the shark cage, or she tries to get him in the shark cage. Liv runs up, runs away. Rhea chases her off. At one point, she throws a shoe at Liv, which was hilarious. And then eventually, Judgment Day got the last word over Damian Priest. The numbers game was too much for him. He hits a couple of coup de grace on Damian Priest. So, yeah.
Then we got a Sheamus promo. Pretty much it's just him talking crap about Pete Dunne and challenging him to a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Not the first time we've seen a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match.
Yeah, I like the Donnybrook match. Those are fun. Those are good. Nothing will beat the bar brawl, which, of course, was instigated by Jeff Hardy throwing just the thickest, gooeyest
It's viscous. It's like motor oil, honestly.
It was like Bardal motor oil.
Yeah, just throwing viscous urine at Sheamus's face.
Yeah, who could forget that?
Then we have Chad Gable making his entrance. He has a match against Kofi coming up, and they have a memorial video for Pete Rose, who passed away yesterday.
Yeah, that's sad.
WWE Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had some. He was kind of the perfect way to do celebrities in WWE. He would just show up, get tombstoned by Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'd be it, or chokeslammed, and then that'd be it. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Then we have a Damage Control promo. Say last week we beat Unholy Union, adding to the list of teams we've taken down our way back to the top. Bianca says next time she'll be ready, but nobody's ever ready for Damage Control. Jade says she stands on business. We don't plan on letting them stand. We plan on making them fall. We challenge you to a women's tag title match. Damage Control will take over WWE again. We haven't been the same since we lost this tag titles. The only way to beat Damage Control is to get those titles back. Bianca, I'm in your head already. Now I'm living rent-free in your head forever. And we're taking back those tag team championships.
Yep. After that, we had Kofi Kingston versus Chad Gable. So, again, a little bit of miscommunication here. This is a really, really fucking fun match, though.
It was really good.
The meat of it was just really just awesome stuff. Gable gets the win with a chaos theory, but it's because Kofi had him lined up for Trouble in Paradise. But Gable, when he comes off the ropes and Kofi's trying to connect with it, Woods trips him up. And then Gable runs Kofi into the corner, connects with a chaos theory there to get the win. Woods checks on Kofi afterwards. American Made holds Gable up. And then we see the bit where Seth Rollins was in Baltimore for some foosball, for some football.
Yeah.
And then we had Bronson Reed backstage with Jackie. She's like, hey, Seth coming back soon. Does that bother you? He's like, nope. In fact, congratulations to Seth Rollins. I hope he comes back because I took months off his career. And next time I'll take years off his life. Sorry to Braun Strowman for exposing you for the man you are because I will be the last monster standing. Big Bronson Reed. I thought this was an awesome promo from him.
It was.
Thought it was really, really good. It's kind of the stuff that he needs.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I meant to mention, the stuff with Woods and Kofi, I think if anything justifies trying to add some of that fly on the wall stuff, it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because it needs a little bit more like nuance. Like the
there was a shot.
performances are there, but if this is a private conversation and they don't feel the need, the way they do it right now, it feels very staged. It feels like a play, and you have to project.
With the background arguing, yeah.
Right. And if you did it with a situation where the camera is catching it and it's in a long shot, and they can use sort of more natural voices, I think it would enhance the performances even more.
No, I think so. I think so too. So Adam Pearce has given some instructions to officials prior to the last Monster Standing match. Gunther walks by, smiles. He's heading to the ring. We get a Wyatt 6 VHS video. It says, we see your intent, anger festering into rage. Do not go down this path. It ends in your demise. You know better. Do not force our hand.
So somebody in our chat earlier mentioned, is this a warning for Xavier Woods?
Possible.
Be interesting.
Possible. Yeah, it's possible.
I love that, man. I love using characters as a catalyst for a character change.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's such a smart move, and it's so much more interesting than it has been in the past.
And then after that, Gunther comes to the ring. That's when they announce that Ilya's going to be out 6-9 months after tearing his ACL. And then, again, just this story just ain't hitting with Gunther and Sammy. It's just Gunther comes out, says, I find having to deal with Sami Zayn annoying. I like being champion, a top guy, I get the money, the luxuries, but dealing with Sami is annoying. So Sami comes out. He says, well, if you're tired of me being annoying, all you have to do is give me a title shot. And Sami continues, you think you're so much better. You beat future Hall of Famers, world champions, you beat everyone except me. I pinned you, talking about the Mania match. You think you're so much better, and that's what drives you crazy, isn't it? You know that if it was me versus you for the belt, you're scared it's going to happen again. And Gunther says, you know what, you're right. I'm afraid, but not afraid of you. I'm afraid for my reputation. All those legendary things I did, losing to the better man would have been no problem, but losing to you is the biggest embarrassment of my career. I was so busy embarrassing you in front of your family. It's what you did to me. I was so confident that I flew my family out to WrestleMania. But I didn't parade them around for sympathy. But once it was done, I looked my father in his eyes, and he told me I flew all the way from Vienna to Philadelphia to see you lose against that bum, Sami Zayn. I don't expect you to understand because your family is used to seeing you fail. They expect nothing from you. My family expects everything from me. I am the golden goose. I am Gunther. I am special, and I'm something you will never be, and that is World Heavyweight Champion. And Sami does. Well, what my family knows is that when I get knocked down, I pick myself right back up. What do? You crumbled. After I beat you, you didn't ask for a rematch. You disappeared for months, but then he won King of the Ring and won the world title.
Yeah, here's the thing. He was champion for 666 days.
Maybe you want a break.
The guy deserved a little bit of a break. I mean, King of the Ring was only like a month after Mania?
It was pretty quick.
It wasn't that long afterwards. Maybe.
So he says, well, you couldn't show your face around here all because your dad made you feel like a loser. Well, now you can show your dad. You've shown your dad that his son is also a coward. So this upsets Gunther. Hits him with the lariat. Eventually hits Sami with a power bomb, and he says, you want this so badly, you've got your match. So it happens next week on Raw.
Oh, was that announced? It's happening next week on Raw?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right on.
How long should this match last, and how many chops should Gunther hit?
Okay, how long should it last, or how long will it last? It's going to last a half hour. It's going to last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long match. It shouldn't be. It honestly should be like, 10 chops and a power bomb, and then he lifts himself on him for the pin, and that's it. That's what it should be. Look, I like Sami Zayn. I think he's one of the best in-ring wrestlers they have. And as a character, he can be one of the best. He probably put it next to Jey Uso, the single best performance in professional wrestling from a character standpoint over the past couple of years with the Bloodline stuff. But like anybody else, when he's given stuff that isn't good to work with, it's hard to turn that into something compelling. Yeah. And his character can be, especially when you're a good guy who's so sincere and he's making bad points. That's the worst for somebody. It really is, because it's so transparent. It's so bad. It's so transparent that he stands there and he can tell Gunther, a guy who's champion for 666 days, that he crumbled and hid. He's got the world title, man. And that's on the writing. It's on Sami Zayn. I call it Sami Zayn because he is the face of the creative. The creative just needed to be better for both these guys. But the match itself, look, I joke about him being squashed. I don't think he should be. I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. So that's what I think. What do you think?
Squash.
Okay. Heart of
but
hearts.
not like a quick one like Brock and Cena.
Wow. Okay. Oof. Ouch.
That way you still give Sami the few hope spots there. Oh, this is where he makes his comeback. No.
Kind of the deal was like, okay, well, this one Gunther's locked in. He wasn't locked in at Mania. He's locked in.
Hubris last time. He's locked in now.
Okay.
Like, you even have that one moment where Sami's like going for the turnbuckle of Brain Buster. No.
Yeah. Okay.
No, because that was kind of the turning point in their last match.
This is gonna be like when bad Superman beat up Clark Kent and put him in the trash compactor.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That terrified me when I was a kid.
That was pretty frightening. Yeah.
It was. A lot of like fucked up moments in the cinemas back then, like us kids were watching, you know?
I know, it was the norm in the 80s, yeah.
It was, yeah. Tested our metal.
Then we got Awesome Truth taking on AOP. This match is pretty short because Miz tagged in and then kicked R-Truth right in the face.
Yes, it was. And
so he walks out. Miz
Cross
does.
just laughing his ass off. It was great.
And then AOP hits R-Truth with What a Rush for the win. Then we get Gunther with Kaiser backstage, and I believe behind them you see Woods and Kofi arguing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Gunther, so Braun Breaker walks up and it's like, he's like staring at the World Heavyweight Championship, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just want to see for myself." And Gunther sarcastically says, "Oh, he really is a badass." Braun says, "That's right. You'll see me sooner than you think."
Yeah.
That's when they announced that next week we're getting Sammy and Gunther, Donnybrook match, as well as Jey versus Woods for the IC title. So pretty loaded Raw next week.
Gonna be a good Raw, man. Gonna be a good Raw.
Hour shorter, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's gonna get... Okay, so let's look at this week's Raw. Who gets cut if this goes down to 2 hours?
I mean, sadly, it's probably Pure Fusion Collective and Lyra Valkyria and Carter and Chance.
I know, man. That's a drag. That's a bummer.
I mean, it's a... They gotta invest more in the stories they're telling in so many of the undercard stories, specifically in the women's division, because they all kind of amount to we're better than you, we're the most dominant, and so they just have matches with each other, trading wins and losses, but it doesn't really go anywhere story wise.
You know,
it's a bummer.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. I think one thing that they really should do that I just don't think they're gonna chop some of these promo segments down in half, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just like cut these things down a bit.
I know. Be more efficient with the promo stuff, and then you won't have to cut people's TV time as much.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're sitting there watching, because I think, Punk came out first, and it's just the entrances alone just take fucking forever.
You know, it would have been probably just as effective if they had some sit-down interviews they did with Punk and Drew and did a really good video package for their match at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Like, find a really salient licensed song, seems to fit with the story, give us a really good 2-minute video package.
Or even do the thing, and I know this was really long too, but you can do a more efficient version of the Georgia Tech showdown between Cody and Roman. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do the cinematic stuff, lean into it. Do some more of it. You know, this is like going to be a big deal match. I don't think, is there any more word on like what's actually going to main event? It's going to be Roman. I mean, Cody,
it's all, contradictory stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. What should main event?
Hell in a Cell should main event unless The Rock's coming back.
Roman's return match doesn't main event? That's crazy. Crazy talk, I tell you. But yeah, this is a big story, so that probably should. Anyways, Last Monster Standing was the main event, and I love that they did a barricade spot, and then they did this barricade right behind the
second barricade, and then like it took out the crowd.
It took out the indie wrestlers.
Yeah, sitting there.
Where were they last night?
Evansville, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what they said.
They had a lot of indie wrestlers there last night. The entire security staff. You got the front row fans.
Well, you probably had a couple rows because there was people selling a couple rows back after that spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We got the ring breaking spot with the superplex. Braun Strowman hits across.
I love that shit, man. I love that
small
shit.
thing. I'd love to see them do that same thing, but with something other than a superplex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like Braun goes up top, Reed gets on the second rope and hits him with like a Death Valley driver off the second rope or something.
Well, dude, you could do it with a tsunami. I mean, the point is both of them are impacting. I get that, but I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, like, if Seth didn't come back, the finish was Bronson Reed hitting Braun with a tsunami and it makes the ring collapse. That's a hell of a visual.
Yeah, it's a really cool visual. You know, it's like he has to load it up somehow. I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. But regardless, I love that. I knew that shit was happening too. You just know, something's gonna happen.
I think we said it last week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think so. or like they were gonna break through the ring, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love that shit. This has been such a wonderfully booked feud.
It's been a lot of fun. So after the ring collapses, the superplex, Bronson Reed gets to his feet, and by this point, there's ring steps. There's a ton of security. Seth Rollins runs in, hits Bronson with a stomp on the stairs, and Braun gets to his feet first. He wins.
Oh, I love that. Love that for Braun. That's great, man. That's great. Anyways, would you like to answer some questions, perhaps?
Let's answer some questions.
A lot of good questions here.
Luis here says, what are some of your expectations for NXT? What are you expecting to see? Of course, they premiere on the CW tonight.
Man,
hopefully a new look.
I hope a new look. Like there's been kind of like in some of the graphics packages that have come out the last day or two, like last 24 hours or so, you starting to get like a little hint, like in the background plate that they're using, it's a little bit more metallic. Double down on that.
More metal.
More metal. It's the, I'm not a huge fan of the creamsicle though, be honest with you.
Yeah, I like creamsicle in the right context.
I like actual creamsicles.
Well, like Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Oh,
beautiful.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree with
those
that.
contexts. I have some Ultra Boosts that are kind of creamsicle. Look great.
No, you're absolutely right. In the right context, you're right. For this, for a wrestling show, not too into it.
Again, I mean, I feel like there's a way to execute.
Dude, you remember when that last, I think it was the last, or it was the second to last NXT when it was black and gold, and Triple H went so overboard. It was like a small NXT logo and these giant like metal wings.
Yeah.
It was like, it's not now, you're just not doing NXT. You're just doing like Triple H presents the metal, metal wrestling show.
Nate Cruz here says, if you could have Bronson and Braun fight anywhere to create the most mayhem possible, where would it be?
A small city, like a miniature city, like they have in the Thing, where there's like a giant, an actual tsunami, and he's like whatever they call the giant monsters, the kaiju. Yeah. It's just that. Like, what is it? Safetyville over here? There.
Yeah.
That.
So, like, we're both fans of the video game Rampage, where you're
correct
monsters and you destroy buildings, essentially.
Right.
Since we can't do that, have them fight, though, inside an office building.
Okay, sure, yeah. Like
start
cubicles
throwing
and stuff.
People at each other.
Oh, so like
printers.
an active like call center.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Throwing people through cubicles.
Yeah. They get on like the headset. Your account balance is overdrawn. Click, and then he throws. Exactly. Yeah, that's good.
You got it.
That's perfect. I love that. That's a great idea. How about a Waffle House? Could it be you mix like a food fight in it? Pretty cool.
Yeah, Waffle House sounds good. I've never been.
I know, but doesn't it just sound really good?
I'm so hungry. It's lunchtime for.
You should go to the closest thing we got. IHOP. Yeah, right. Not great. This question here from CKY Halo. Of course, that name combines two things that much beloved in the mid-aughts.
True.
CKY and Halo. Says this. Does Jey keep the Intercontinental Championship until the Royal Rumble? Man, they changed the color on that thing. Yeah, he keeps it. He keeps it for a while. He'll have it for a while. He mentioned the family, mentioned Roman. He's going to shove that thing in Roman's face, man. And it's going to be awesome.
Yep. Timor here says, what would be your go-to method of cheating to win a wrestling match?
Ooh, I love
the low blow
thing. Yeah.
Low blow.
Okay. That is the most effective. That's like kind of a finisher,
Yeah.
And then hit somebody with a backwoods and they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to come up with something different. I would do the thing where you act like you're going to hit him with one thing, but let the ref take that from you, and then you hit him with the other thing.
Yeah.
You pull out the old brass knucks out of your junk area, and then you hit him with the brass knucks, and then you got like ball sweat and the brass of the brass knuckles.
Yeah.
So I would do that. Here we go. My spirit animal's the Dorito. Another MVP level question here. This is a S tier question. Who is your favorite childhood safety mascot? Smokey the Bear, McGruff the Crime Dog, or Mr. Yuck? Who's Mr. Yuck?
I have never heard of Mr. Yuck before.
Neither have I. Really curious about this now. Mr. Yuck.
Oh, Mr. Yuck was created by the Pittsburgh Poison Center. Poison
Mr.
awareness.
Yuck means no, stay away. Poison help. This guy is, oh my God, look at there's like a little Muppet version of him. I don't like him.
I'd never heard of Mr. Yuck before.
That guy's a weirdo. Smokey made me legitimately sad.
Yeah.
Like, that was disturbing because there was like a bear, I think, that they were using as the basis for Smokey the Bear, and he got fucked up from fire. So I'm not going to say him. He was too real for me.
No, I liked Smokey because Smokey was keeping it real.
Oh, it was so depressing. Give me McGruff the Crime Dog. You know, that guy probably got some false confessions out of people. I think that dude
therein lies the issue,
I
Steve.
think he was a bad cop. Bad boy, bad cop. That's what he was. McGruff was going around just beating the shit out of people.
No. Give me Smokey the Bear.
You've gone too far, McGruff. Go lay down.
Mastojira here says, Inferno match or casket match, which one returns to WWE first?
Oh, casket.
Who would deploy a casket match, though?
I don't know. Anybody before they employ actual fire.
Probably. But they've had didn't Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt have an Inferno match?
Oh, God, yeah, that was ridiculous, too. That was so over the top.
It was over the top.
Poor
Bray.
Bray.
I think they've actually done an Inferno match more recently than they've done a casket match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Starkman Stubb says, Starman says, if you took two WWE superstars and swapped their finishers, who would you choose? Roman gets the backwoods, and Xavier Woods gets the Superman punch spear.
All right. Braun Strowman gets Trouble in Paradise. And then I guess Kofi would get the running power slam.
Does anybody have? I know. Didn't Andrade has used the double knees before as a finish, right?
Yeah, way when he first came to WWE. I think
he doesn't do that now. Obviously,
no,
he's got the message. But if he did that again, then you give Braun Strowman the double.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh my.
God bless that guy, man. Boy, he gave it his all last night.
He did.
That is so fucking cool. Here we go. John and Alistair voice. John says, how would you guys accidentally win a match, and how would the other respond?
Accidentally win a match?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'd like, I mean, knowing me, I'm not very coordinated. I'd trip and fall on somebody.
What about I'm up in a powerbomb position and I...
Wow. Like you crack
and
your
they're
pants?
so taken aback by it.
Oh.
They fall, grab their legs.
Backwards. They fall backwards and you're like, and then like the impact.
I grab the legs, roll up right there, yeah.
Well, I think you can just, if you're in powerbomb position, you're sitting basically, so your junk is facing them.
Yeah.
You shit yourself. They fall back, so you're basically like sitting on them.
Yeah.
And then it comes because the impact spills out.
Well, I'm not saying poop. I'm just saying fart.
Take it to the next level.
Well, that's
Come on, are we doing this for real or not?
That's yuck, Steve.
An absolute explosion of your bowels on cable television.
All right.
And they can't get up.
No.
They have to sit in it.
Just, yeah. Oh,
oh yeah. Oh, we already talked about this one.
Lonnie here says, what's the likelihood of Roxanne getting called up, assuming Julia beats her tonight?
I feel like Roxanne's going to do that thing where, like, after she loses the title, she kind of does a stint where she's putting over other people.
And then teleports.
Yeah, maybe she teleports. John Hosey says, no question. Just want to thank y'all for the content. I'll be repping the Big Blue Championship hat you gave me for NXT tonight in Chicago. Our last couple of winners, by the way. I got the, I'll do an opening real quick here. I got the hats in because I owe like a couple people hats for the Big Blue. If you win the Big Blue Predictions Challenge, look at that. You get a hat.
Man, I want one of those.
I know, man. So do I. But I'm not very good at it, so what are you going to do?
Oh, tummy's grumbling.
Look at this guy. This is what you stand to win. All you got to do is get that Friendo Club set up, and then you have to win the thing.
Yeah.
But if you want an opportunity to win the Big Blue Predictions Challenge hat,
there it is.
Patreon.com/Stephen Larson, or click join right here at YouTube.com/Stephen Larson.
Alex Foster says, what style of video package would be used for a last Friendo standing match? So, of course, with this, they had like the monster movie type video package.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Like, I'm thinking more epic than that. You know, like some sort of space type situation.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Know,
Some
like
wormholes, perchance.
Planet Steve versus Planet Larson. And it's just like, you know, a big old planet with my face poorly photoshopped.
And then another one
on
with
it.
my face.
And then there's one with yours. Yeah. And then they collide and they explode like that Netflix show.
That's kind of all I got that we didn't cover on the show.
All right. Okay. B. Denny says, with the Intercontinental Championship belt being upgraded, how does it currently stack among the other incarnations of the IC title? And which one is your favorite?
Oh, the 80s one with the...
Do you still have that one back there?
Yeah, with the white belt on it is the best.
I will say this. I like the one as it currently is better than the Attitude Era version. The one you're about to bust out is still my favorite one. But I really like the... yeah, this one is the best one. I know a lot of people love the Attitude Era version. I don't really like it, though. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is really awesome. That's something else.
Good belt.
That is a really good belt. That's awesome. Let's see here. All right. I think that's good. We've answered a lot of these other questions here. So we're gonna call it a day on this one. Are we doing the first NXT thing tomorrow?
We can.
Okay. Well, we'll do that.
Or we can play it by ear. We can do hot takes later and get up in the morning. If NXT is worth doing a soul or a total review for, then we can do that. If not, we'll put it with AEW.
Well, we'll talk about it after the show
or combine hot takes with the NXT review.
We'll talk about it. Anyway.
All right.
Make sure you sub to the channel because whatever we end up doing,
find out about it there.
You find out about it there. Exactly. That's going to do it for the show. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Till next